Discussion topic is about a manual testing process in software testing. Okay, so let's go to the topic. It's a testing process. Okay, what are the steps involved in testing process? So that is, it starts with a test strategy or a plan creation, test environment setup, then test case creation. After that, test data creations, test case execution, defect reporting, retest and regression, that is testing and sign off. Okay, so here the test strategy or a plan creation means so creating a proper plan, okay, in order to execute the whole testing process. Environment means so we are creating whatever the environment required. Okay, and test case creation and test data creation, it is involved about the what are the scenarios involved in order to make the test cases, and also so what are the data should be considered. And then test case execution means whatever the data we got it, there we are executing the test. Okay, the cases which we have created. Then if we find any defects, we have to report that to the development team. Then if after development team, so what after the correcting or after rectifying, so they will be sending once again to the testing team. So their retest and regression testing should be if it is required, it will be done. Then signing off means we are closing the testing process. Okay, so moving to the next topic, that is the test plan creation. Okay, it is nothing but creating a test plan, which is a very important thing. Okay, in the test management process. Okay, so below mentioned are the steps involved in creating the test plan. So it starts with the analysis of the product, so where we are going to analyze the product, then designing the test strategy, then defining the test objectives, so what are the objective or scope of the test, and define the test criteria, resource planning, and then the test environment, we have to planning, so what sort of test environment is required, schedule and estimation, and determine the test deliverable. So what are the documentation or what are the deliverable, that is the deliverable required. Okay, so on determining those things. So this is about the test the plan creation. And moving to the topic, that is the test criteria. So test criteria means entry and exit conditions. Okay, so how to start the so how and when to start the test process, and how to close the the test process. Okay, test execution. Okay, so which is a very important thing, the set of conditions that should be met in order to start any new type of testing, or any any it may be of any sort of the testing process. We should know the what are the set of condition, how to start with the the test process. Okay, so the entry condition says it should have a white box testing should be finished. Okay, white box testing, there are two types of, that is white box and a black box techniques, and these are the techniques involved in testing process. Okay, and understanding and analyze the requirement. Then test data should be that the test data which has to be executed, that has to be ready. The application also must be prepared, and we have to think about the modules and features which needs to be assigned to the different test engineers, and the necessary resources must be ready. So these are the things about the entry, the entry condition. And for the exit condition, so we have to think about when to get exit of the test process, that is when all the test cases are executed, or if most of the severely the defects are identified, and if they get rectified, and most of the test cases, if it is get passed. Okay, so these are the things about the exit conditions. Okay, where we have to take into consideration when to close the testing process. Okay, then there is a one more very important criteria, that is called as suspension criteria. After starting the testing process, okay, before the end the testing process get ends. Okay, there is a suspension criteria when what happens is, if we are finding more difficulties or more defects are identified, then what happens is we have to suspend the testing process. Then once again the whole thing has to be, means the code has to be sent to the developer saying that so it is not it met a suspension criteria, and this has to be resolved in a priority basis. Okay, if the testing member reports that is more than 40% of the test cases are failed, then definitely the suspension criteria meets. Okay, so this is about the suspension criteria. And schedule and estimation, yeah, very important thing, because we have to schedule the whole and the every process which are involved, in the test process. Okay, and also the estimation is a very important thing, because schedule and estimation, if it is not performed in a correct way, definitely the process cannot be, they miss the testing process cannot be done in time. Okay, so it is used to explain the timing, about the work, though, how the work has to be get scheduled, and how the the work has to be breakdown and have to be segregated between the teams. Okay, this is about the schedule and estimation, here the task, each and every task, so who are the member involved and what is the estimation effort. Okay, so this actually schedule and estimation says about how to how to schedule the things, and how means it is nothing but how the work has to be get scheduled. Okay, so and test scenarios, very important, the topic which is involved in the testing process. In the test scenarios are also called as a test condition or a test probability. So it is a document, because what happens is it gives about the it will be obtained from the from the requirement specification. So they will be they will be drafted, so which are the key points that has to be tested. So according to the test cases are from the test scenarios, test cases are created. Okay, and test scenarios are the way in which which are used for testing the application software. It doesn't include any input or output, but actually it helps in understanding the flow of the software from point to point. Okay, so this is about the test scenarios. And for example, if we take any about the the payment for a cab services. Okay, so there are multiple test cases, okay, which can be involved. Payment method to be used, so it may be any the Google Pay or a Paytm, or you can also use a payment of a credit or a debit card. Okay, and the next scenario is the payment done, whether it is, so whatever the payment gateway we used, or whatever in whatever the way we are processing about the payment, whether the payment done successful. Okay, and also the payment done is, if it can be successful or a payment may be unsuccessful. So these are the scenarios, or the payment process may be truncated in between. Okay, the payment process aborted in between, not able to access the payment method. Okay, not able to even the get about the the Google Pay or Paytm, so it is not opening, so are not able to access okay, the payment method. And the application breakdown in between, see things, there may be different reason. Okay, so where the application may get breakdown in between. So these are the different test scenarios. Okay, because see, when we think about the test cases, the multiple test cases will be available with respect to the scenarios. Okay, so this is about the test scenarios. And test case design, which is a very important thing, because this is how actually we are we are performing the because on this basis only the test will be performed. Okay, test case design refers to how you set up your test cases, means design, right? Okay, how we are designing the test cases. Okay, so it is a responsibility of a tester in order to design the test cases. Okay, to design the test cases, the tester should understand, he should know the requirement. Okay, in what, so what are the requirement, what are the customer specification. Okay, and then you have to identify the scenarios, then design the, so you have to design the test cases depending upon the requirement, and review the test cases. So what after the testing process is done by process, step by step, we have to review the test cases, and then we have to update the test cases based on the review. So whatever the review is performed, so regarding to that, so that has to be get updated, or that has to be updated. So this is about the test case design. And if you want to design a test case, okay, so whatever the technique involved, okay, so these are the whatever we mentioned, so those are the available techniques for creating a test case design. That is, one is the BAV, that is the boundary value analysis, ECP, that is equivalence class partition, then DCP, that is a decision table based testing, state transition, and error guessing testing. So these five are the available techniques for in order to for designing the test cases. Yes, this is all about the about the manual testing process. What are the process, or what are the steps involved in in for having a the manual testing process. Okay, so this is about the whole the topic or the whole discussion. And so our contact details, that is the email ID is trainer@ctex@solution.net. If you have any queries, okay, so definitely you can contact us with this email email address. Okay, so hope the topic discussed is clear and clarified. And further, if you need any updates, definitely that will be for your queries will be addressed but through our email address. Okay, thank you very much.